Welcome back to Better Than Before. I'm your host, Tony Richards, and in this segment, I want to take you into a pseudo environment of coaching with an executive coaching client. So if I'm working with a CEO very early on, now later on, we get into a framework that's customized and designed for that person to their unique abilities, their strengths, their weaknesses, their business issues that they're facing. But really early on in the relationship, I like to ask a couple of questions to kind of get us going and get us started. And I thought I would give you some of that in this particular segment. So I've got about 4 questions that I want to share with you and kind of tell you why I asked these particular questions. So I will probably ask this first question even before we start working together. So even if we're just having coffee or lunch, or we're on the phone or on Skype and we're talking about developing a relationship where I'm going to become the person's coach, my first question to them always is, are you having any fun? Now, that seems like a very easy and simple question. Quite frankly, it is. But it is a powerful question, and I'll tell you why. However they answer me is going to be an indicator of their performance and what zone performance they're operating in predominantly. Do you know what I mean when I say you're in a zone? Like, hey, man, I'm in a zone. So if you've ever played basketball or baseball and, man, everything's just going right and it seems like the game is coming to you easy and you're making your shots or you're hitting the ball and you've had those days at work where, man, it just seems like everything was just really easy and you were in a zone, right? And one of the characteristics of being in a zone is that it's fun. You're having fun. You're enjoying it. Things are coming easy for you. It feels good, and you're more likely having fun, all day. You've had those conversations with people. It's like, I was having a great day until. And what they mean is something happened. It took them out of the zone. And instead of getting themselves right back in the zone, they allowed the circumstance or whatever it was that knocked them out of the zone to own them. And they didn't have the resiliency to get themselves back to the zone, which is very critical, especially the higher level position you have. So it's an important key to high performance work and also a culture building model for other people, because people are looking at you. You're the one that you're building the culture around. If you're the president or the CEO or a top level executive, you're one of the people that they're looking at as an example of what to do, where to go, how to behave, those kinds of things. So the more you're in the zone, the more you're having fun, the better model they have to follow, right? If you're stressed and upset, generally that gets passed on like the flu. So there's no doubt about it that leadership is more caught than taught. And what I mean by that is people get the rub off of other leaders easier than they actually formally get educated by them. So they watch their attitudes, their behaviors, the way they talk, the way they make decisions, and they emulate that, either positive or negative. And I just want to say, if you're going to be a carrier of that virus, I'd say carry the fun virus. Get that out there and let people catch the fun rather than the non-fun activities. So I always like to ask right off the bat, are you having any fun? Because that tells me how often you're in the zone. Because if you are having fun, you're in the zone. If you're not having fun, something's knocked you out of the zone. Because you can't be in the zone and not be having fun. That's just kind of goes that way. Number 2 question is, what more do you need to succeed? And usually the answer that comes back is, I need more time. And that's code. So a lot of things we say we don't really mean. And this is one of those things where it's really code for I haven't dealt with some critical issues, or I haven't followed up on some things that are essential. There's a project that's taken longer because I procrastinated, or this isn't working right because I'm a perfectionist. There's a reason that you need more time. There's a real hard reason. And it isn't just, well, everybody needs more time, don't they? No, there is a reason that everybody individually as a person struggles with time. There are specific concrete reasons for it. Maybe it's been pushed back because lower priorities. You decided that would be more fun to work on than this. Maybe, but it wasn't as high a priority. You just liked it better. So you shifted. It's usually mismanagement, not all the time, but it's not mismanagement of time. It's mismanagement of ourselves. The time goes on and time exists. And all time is a placeholder that gives us opportunity to do stuff. That's all it is. And someday we will be out of it. We have no idea when it's going to be. We just know that someday we are going to be out of time. And if we didn't have that thought, we'd all be professional procrastinators. I mean, we'd never do anything. If we didn't think that this was all going to come to an end someday, we'd all be sitting on our butt. But we do know we only have so much time, and we're not quite sure how much of it we really have. And instead of trying to manage that, you need to manage you and your activities and your behavior. So when you say I need more time, that's code for something else. Maybe your delegation is suffering. Maybe you need more strategic time programmed for yourself. There are reasons behind it. Hardly ever is it really time is the answer, although time is the most popular answer. Number 3, what else should you be doing? And again, this involves delegation of some sort. Often it's followed by, I just can't give those things to my people. Well, then you need to do more development with your people, or maybe you need to go recruiting, but there is always some interesting answers to what else should you be doing. Make sure you have the proper accountabilities, responsibilities, and input. Those are the big 3 in personal execution. Accountability can't be shared. Responsibility can be shared, and input can be received. Now, who's supposed to be doing what? Who's accountable? Who's responsible? And who needs to give input? And if you have those straightened out across your staff, life gets a whole lot easier and a whole lot better and a lot more productive. So you need to have those programmed into your organization properly. And yes, I help people do that all the time. So this is classic slow down so you can go faster type strategies. So slow down, build a better mousetrap, catch more mice, right? You need to do additional development. Maybe you need to do some training. Maybe you need more resources. Maybe you need different people. But there is an answer to what else should you be doing. And number 4, how do you receive and accept feedback? And I actually know leaders that I've worked with before that get upset when people bring their problems to them. They're like, gee, Minnie Christmas, can't you solve anything on your own? You know, and I'll just tell you, the day people stop talking to you or bringing you problems and opportunities, you've stopped being a leader to them. They've lost confidence in you. They don't think you can help anymore. They come to the conclusion that you don't care about them. Something, but it's not good. I can tell you that right now. When people stop bringing issues to you, it's not good. It's a bad sign. So you need to seek out feedback all the time. Invite it, welcome it, always be learning about your people. Have conversations with them, do exercises with them. Don't be frustrated if in the meeting they don't do it right. You need to pay attention to what is coming out of their mouth. You need to pay attention to what's in their head. You need to pay attention to what's in their heart. Recently, I was doing some strategic work with a company, and we had all their mid-level directors in a room and split them up into groups to do some strategy work, and we were doing a SWOT exercise. And one of the senior executives was astonished, and not necessarily in a good way, at what they came up with. And I just coached him. I said, listen, you need to be thankful that you know where your people are. You need to be thankful that you know what they're thinking, what's in their head, what's in their heart, what they're focused on. And it's too bad that it's not the same thing you're thinking about and that you're focused on. But that's a blessing that now you can take steps to communicate and work on it and change it. You know where to take them now. You were taking them someplace and they weren't even on the same road as you. And so now you can back up, do a U-turn, go back, catch them, and start directing them over to the path you want them to be on. But just to get frustrated and upset because their answers don't match your answers, reality is reality. So, you need to be thankful that you figured out that, hey, these people, we all want our people. It's almost like our kids. We want our people to have the right answers, and we want them to be the best player, and we want them to win awards, and we want them to be the most popular, and we want them to be the most productive. And when they're not, we get disappointed instead of going, gee, what can I do to help? Okay, so those are the 4 questions I typically would ask in a early stage type meeting. So let's just repeat those. Number 1, are you having any fun? Number 2, what more do you need to succeed? Number 3, what else should you be doing? And number 4, how do you receive and accept feedback? And so if you want to do some strategic thinking, Here's some questions that you can ask yourself in your strategic thinking time besides the ones I just gave you. Number 1 is, how do I get more in tune with myself? How do I get more in tune with myself? And there's a couple things you can do. You can take assessments. We offer assessments in our company for people. It's a great way to learn more about yourself. You can ask yourself key questions. I'm taking you through an exercise like that right now. You can get in touch with your thoughts and emotions by journaling. You can take what's in you in an intangible way and bring it outside you in a very tangible way by journaling. Several ways to get in tune with yourself and try to figure out, what's going on with you. Number 2, you can spend at least a few minutes in strategic thinking every day, reflecting on how your day went, what went well, and what would you like to have done different or better. Spend a few minutes in strategic thinking every day, reflecting on how your day went, what went well, what would you like to have done better, what would you have done differently. And number 3, always be mindful of feedback and make a point of thanking people every time, every time you can. Make it automatic. Say things like, thank you so much for sharing that with me. Thank you so much for including me. Thank you so much for letting me know that. Be appreciative and grateful for feedback coming your way, and thank people because they don't have to tell you. They don't have to offer that. They don't have to, if you've endeared yourself to them and they want to help you and they feel like you're out for their best interest, they'll have no problem coming to you. They'll have no problem asking you questions. They'll have no problem bringing their problems to you. They'll have no problem asking you for advice. But you need to be appreciative of it and need to say thank you a lot. Well, that's our show today. Please follow me on Twitter at TonyRichards4, and you can follow our organization at ClearVisionDEV. I'm your host, Tony Richards, reminding you that everything gets better when you get better.
Thank you for listening to Better Than Before with Tony Richards, a business leaders podcast powered by Clear Vision Development Group. For more resources from Tony, visit clearvisiondevelopment.com. Join us next time for another episode of Better Than Before with Tony Richards.